What's up, everybody? Happy Monday, and welcome back to the Paladins Console League. And this is a day where there's 2 weeks left. Counting today, 2 weeks left. Our NA teams are already qualified for that qualifier week, happening in a few weeks. But still over in EU, there's some stuff that could change around, so make sure you keep your eyes on those standings. I'm Dolson. Gormizer joins me to start out the day. And again, a lot on the line here today. I mean, you look at the first couple of matches we're going to be able to watch between, Flashpoint and then Aaron Monitor playing in our second set of the day. You know, things can still swap around in this region.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think, the biggest thing to look at is this week is going to be decisive just because how fast you win is going to be able to affect kind of your plus-minus as you're going into it. But then, well, first off, they need to win, I guess, is another caveat on there. Both teams need to be able to come out with a win. On looking at the standings for them, it's not too surprising to see potentially both of them moving forward. Next week, though, I think they face each other. Yeah. And that's kind of that's the deciding factor. That's the one that really will kind of break it down.
Well, let's see what matches we got on the slate for you today. You'll notice looking at this, we don't have any EU Xbox matches today. Some DQs, some no-shows on the back side of that one, so a couple of those teams able to grab the win, which means we're going to double up, and maybe for better. Flashpoint and Arial arise first. Stush and Aaron Monitor, of course, are second. And as Gore and I mentioned, Flashpoint are 1 win ahead of Aaron Monitor. So that's an important one that, Flashpoint win and Aaron Monitor lose, or vice versa. The standings could definitely look very different. And then looking at the EU Xbox standings, I think that region was relatively close as well as far as, Cyclone was, I think, almost right there and confirmed. Vroom Vroom hanging with them. I believe Cyclone and Vroom Vroom both grabbed wins today. So this one still kind of continues into the final week. If I'm remembering correctly, Cyclone has the head-to-head differential. And actually, maybe even the plus-minus differential would be in their favor. Even if next week they lose 3-0, they'd be down at 15. And Vroom Vroom, they would be down at 18, rather. And there's only 1 week left after this, and they're 2 wins ahead. Yeah. So with their, automatic 3-0 today, Cyclone now are confirmed and qualified.
And that's going to be, that's huge. This was like the biggest region coming into it. Yeah. And I think it was, Bustown not being able to kind of field enough players. Yeah. Sometimes it happens. But really coming down to Vroom Vroom, that DQ, like that's one of those moments where it's just kind of like you were right there. Things go good for you this week and then go good for you next week, assuming things, go poorly for Cyclone. You're going to LAN. Right. So Cyclone being able to kind of seal the deal this week with kind of the most uneventful
right?
Hey guys, these last 2 weeks are going to be really important for you, and Vroom Vroom's like, bet.
Yeah, I bet. And Cyclone 2 wins ahead with 1 week left, so congrats to them. EU PS4, excuse me. Those are the 2 matchups we're going to get to look at to start off this day. We'll look at those standings and see just how far apart those 2 teams are. So this is somewhat closer, Gore. I mean, 9-1, 8-2. They have a 2-1 head-to-head differential right now, so it would have to be, I guess, Aaron Monitor, if they win today 3-0 and Flashpoint lose 3-0. Like things can still change around there. But destiny really in Flashpoint's hands.
It's one of those things. Aaron Monitor are, like you said, kind of hoping something otherworldly at this point will happen to Flashpoint, whether it's DQs to make them go down by 3 maps or to change things up. Because even if next week, I believe they play next week head-to-head, that would tie it up. It'd make it 2-2 if Aaron Monitor can win that one. And then it's still, okay, well, go to map differential. If Flashpoint have the lead there, they get to go to LAN. So they need some failure, and it needs to be a pretty catastrophic failure, because if those numbers don't swap, then even if you manage to tie everything else, unfortunately for Aaron Monitor, that's kind of where it will hinge upon.
Yeah, and this is a big one to look at for Flashpoint. Arial Arise has not really had the best time getting some momentum behind him throughout this split, so this is one that Flashpoint will look to lean on, hopefully grab themselves a 3-0, further out that map differential just a little bit, and then the pressure's sort of off as far as their next week matchup up against Aaron Monitor. Should be a fun one, though. I imagine Flashpoint are feeling very confident. Map bans coming in for you right now. Frog Isle and Stone Keep, both banned out.
What a
you
surprise.
said about the Frog Isle.
They always ban Frog Isle.
And Serpent Beach as well, both taken off the table. One day we'll see. We got Frog Isle and PPL.
There is one consistency, and that is that Flashpoint has been banning Frog Isle longer than any other team except maybe Na'Vi, but I want to say even including Na'Vi, because for a long time last year, Na'Vi, with one map ban, were going into it and just banning Fish Market most of their sets.
Right.
The one time they didn't ban Fish Market was when Envy beat them on Fish Market on the world stage. Flashpoint doesn't even run that risk. They're just like, everyday Frog Isle. Even when there was one map ban, it was Frog Isle. They just don't go there.
Well, geographically very close to Frog Isle is Jaguar Falls.
Yeah.
So as far as map similarities go, maybe not all that many. But Jaguar Falls should be a good one here. And I'm looking forward to kind of seeing how maybe the meta's starting to form, because these are important kind of weeks to see where these players are feeling. I mean, we haven't seen big sweeping changes. We've seen, maybe some Bomb Kings here and there start to come into the meta, some Willow every once in a while, and Eevee will come out as well. That's more player dependent. But maybe expect to see some small differences. As far as bans go, though, things are pretty much staying the same there.
Yeah, Willow, I think, kind of taking her little pocket down there is the one that's maybe the more surprising of it all. I mean, on Jag Falls, it's not necessarily our best map. If you're going to go Blaster on this map, I like the Bomb King. Although I can't think of anyone on Flashpoint who I give that to 9 times out of 10. I mean, Skeppy more than likely can run it. Prosper more than likely can run it. But those are hit scan guys through and through. Projectile as well, but they don't do the Blaster play quite as much. But hey, if you want to lose a game to Flashpoint, give Legacy Makoa.
Yeah, that's if you look at any of our games from last week, or Flashpoint's games from last week, Makoa was kind of a win condition for them in all of those games, and it's a team that's only lost one set to Aaron Monner throughout this split, so they know what they're good at. They know what they're not good at. That's why they banned themselves from Frog Isle. But Vivian, maybe there's some health shred there, but the way Legacy plays these front lines gets me a little nervous.
It will absolutely help dealing with the shield, both for Makoa and Khan. It'll cause some trouble with healing a little bit later. I think Barrack, along with the Genos boost, is going to make it a lot more damage. But if they lock in this Inara, then this is Inara standing on the point, which means Skeppy or Prosper is, in my mind, flexing onto that Khan, probably Skeppy, as it comes through. And that's going to be all-out aggression. And it can absolutely work. This is going to be, again, mechanics dependent, and what they have shown in this region is they are the mechanically best 9 times out of 10. One time they've dropped so far. Arial Arise, on the other hand.
Come on, let's fight.
This is a draft I not only love, but is perfect for this map. And as long as it's executed properly, Flashpoint lose this game, but that is a very, very dependent. Like first versus fourth, you've outdrafted them. Can you outplay them?
They've at least set themselves up for some semblance of success, but as it so often comes down to against Flashpoint, it's really performance-based. Do you like Flashpoint rounding out with the Tyra?
I think it works. Honestly, I think if you could trade out Vivian and Tyra, you'd probably like that because she's really good against triple tank.
Right.
But you have her coming in. Ash and Barrack are going to have a really hard time. Bomb King's going to have a really hard time. And if she goes Wrecker early on, Vivian's also going to have a really hard time.
Yep.
I don't think anyone on Arial Arise is going to be able to kind of outrun her or outpace her. A lot of it's going to depend on the trades and that Bomb King.
Well, Gormizer doesn't mind it. I don't mind it either. Flashpoint got a great draft for map number 1.
Game 1 is already here, folks. Welcome in. Of course, we're on Jaguar Falls for the first map. I'm your host, Fawn, but of course, I can't do a 2-man job as one person. I'm here with Grizzly.
No, listen, I think you could. I have faith in you.
No, I don't. I don't at all.
We'll talk about this later. we need to boost your confidence, man. But now, going into this triple tank Tyra, that is a classic, but I don't even know if we're going to see Hunting Party to boost the damage. We've been seeing a lot of Burn Monster lately after the nerfs, and might still see that here, but depends on how they feel about the damage amp and how necessary it is, and it is Hunting Party. They want to have that boost to be able to boost everybody else, and I don't know if that binary star will stick. Not having Luminary for those characters is...
Okay, there we go.
Okay, he
all right,
stopped,
thank God. All right.
Yeah, Luminary definitely needed for the characters that they have, and the sustain of Flashpoint might be their win condition here, but someone down low really early, it's going to be tough for them to burn through.
Paraslay already goes down. The Bomb King actually ended up pushing that right flank a little bit too heavily, and now we see Flashpoint are responding in return. Both Barrack, Ash caught out. The good wall goes up. Manages not to take down anyone as well. Extremely surprised, but this is pretty much the power of the triple front line and comp. They're all pretty much just sitting around point, staying around Grover, and they've got 66% already to Ariel's 9%.
Grover plus Khan sustain is crazy. I mean, it's 1900 burst if you use both the cooldowns. That's a pretty big health bar chunk added to you when you want to stay alive here. Storm Avatar can also play super safe during this whole time. give up the point just a little bit to let them in and not take too much damage. But they have a great flank potentially with Skeppy on the side when they do decide to go in. Very clumped right now, but just trying to find their opening.
Early forfeiting space. The Whirlwind actually ended up getting used immediately to keep Inara up, as well as allowing them to push forward just a little bit, if only a fraction. Ash charged in on the side, so this is the Genos. They're actually being quite aggressive. The Genos being up that far is going to be the exact reason as to why he goes down right there. Not able to heal that Barrett, not able to help out Alex either. And I mean, that's it. They've captured the point, Flashpoint already. I mean, Genos got a little bit too rowdy right
You
there.
can't fault his enthusiasm. You gotta be happy for him. He definitely wanted to make something happen. Maybe a little bit too much. Paraslay getting staggered out at the end of that fight as well. No, actually, Arial's still getting pretty aggressive. They don't have the pick. They're down at damage, so I don't know if they have what they need to burn through the health bars that Flashpoint are bringing to the table right now. Minotaur a little bit caught out. Does dash back in time, so nothing really too wasted, but you can see here Legacy on a good flank, potentially into Secret. Maybe doesn't get spotted. He's playing a little defensively, so I'm assuming he saw him. Yeah, he knows for sure, but now he drops down.
Oh
this
no,
opens us up for the flank.
He's already in the back line. Genos is back there too. He's like, uh-oh, gotta get out of here.
Genos like, I didn't even go in this time.
He's gonna stay as far back as he possibly can, walls him off so he can at least peel back to his team. You heard the assert dominance go off in the back line. Alex Kidd is actually gonna go down, but they were at least able to get one on the Paraslay, get one on the Legacy to stop Flashpoint's aggression. And at this point, Flashpoint have about 4 ultimates online. They're all grouped up right there. Arial and Rise have found their opening, and now they're definitely pushing in as much as they possibly can. And you get Huntress marked immediately, you get burst, Barrett goes down next. You heard the crossfire go off as soon as they started pushing. So Flashpoint, I mean, they're not giving up any ground at all.
I already talked about that double burst heal and how important it is, right? Everyone's really low on Flashpoint. They back up into Dark. Suddenly, Blossom, Battle Shout. Everyone's more or less full. And all these people that are trying to go really aggressive on Arial and finish these kills, there's no way they can get through that in the time that they have. So they trade straight back. Great response by Flashpoint. Whereas might make something happen with Flying Temptation here, but it doesn't look like it. Now, just gotta wait and spawn, hope the tank gets up in time. Only gonna be Alex Kidd up to contest the point.
Guard ends up going out. Paraslay stepped a little bit too far forward in front of his spawn right there, so he's able to get the Legacy with the double, getting the last couple hits on both of those targets. The third one being Alex Kidd, the fourth one being the Barrack as well. And he's going to end up going down 2-0 on Flashpoint's side already. They've got 2 ultimates up still. Really only having to use, actually, what did they even use that fight? I mean, the Whirlwind could have been used. They had 4 ultimates up beforehand. I believe they ended up using the Whirlwind.
They used Whirlwind when they were sustaining in that dark room.
That's it. That's the one it was I was trying to remember about. And they used Crossfire to stop them from actually pushing forward. Arial Arise, though, their slash lines are a little bit rough, but their damage is still at the top of the charts. I mean, 3 members on Arial Arise are already leading the damage charts. So, I mean,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does.
Into triple tank Grover sustain, that's kind of expected. I gotta say, the weirdest choice for me, at least on Arial Rise's side, I'm surprised Alex Kidd is going Fortress Breaker on Ash.
Yeah.
He has a Barrack on his team. That means that all they're doing is giving Flashpoint more value out of Wrecker. And you can tell already, I mean, look, they have Wrecker 2 on Good Lad, on Prosper Logic, Skeppy and Legacy saying, oh, Wrecker just farms them? Fine, I'll get it too. We'll see how aggressive they decide to go here. Potentially very, but they
nice
only catch Alex Kidd with the Seismic Crash.
The Seismic Crash was just the icing on the cake at that point. The wall was the thing that set it up and allowed the kills to already come through. Paraslay in a very, very futile attempt to try and get a stun and create an opening for himself. He also got the overpower on the Genos right there. They pulled him all the way back. Khan was able to use that. Skeppy actually managed to get that overpower on the Genos, excuse me. And because of that, it's netting them 75% on the point.
I was actually hoping that the Genos died on the way in. That's a little, no, it's a tech worth. The Genos dies before he can touch the Khan's hand. You get 30% back still, even though you connected the overpower. Weren't able to get it in time, but it didn't really matter. There was such a dominant fight win from Flashpoint anyway. Arial Arise. Distance is not really where their comp is going to thrive with a Vivian Bomb King. Definitely more of a mid to close range composition. So this is a tough spot for them. The best place for them to fight is going to be once Flashpoint gets close. But even then, that just puts them in danger of getting hooked by Good Lad. Makoa, so consistent if you can hit those hooks. Such an impact player. To see what they can do here. Time and Space tries to connect it. Goes wide this time, but at least Arial Rise are trying something.
Grumpy Bomb gets thrown out behind, but you see Alex Kidd and Paraslay just, it's like an action movie, man. They're just blowing everything up on these stairs. The Michael Bay, the good old Michael Bay tactic. Good Lad actually goes in because he has Ancient Rage. He's going to end up popping that, forcing Paraslay all the way back. Of course, he's just looking for an open target. Alex Kidd charges out as well, doesn't want to deal with that at all from Makoa. The Assert Dominance goes in, gets a 3-man stun, which is absolutely amazing for them. They pick off Storm Avatar. Legacy's going to go down 2. He's going to be the second one. Now they change targets to Good Lad and Skeppy, who are already on the side. Alex Kidd charges in. Paraslay uses the Poppy Bomb to send himself over. He's making sure that he can actually get these bombs off. He is landing them, and it is forcing them more and more back, but they're still not out of the woodworks yet.
They might be too aggressive here, though. I don't know where the rest of the team is. This Fortress Breaker is going to go down right away, more than likely. Vivian's finally here to help them, but look at the potential pinch from Flashpoint. Legacy on that side, they know they have to give up a lot of ground, and Tori, half HP, but Prosper actually on a flank behind them on the cart. I'm not sure if he can 1v3 here, though.
I'm not sure if he can either. The rest of the team actually just aren't even really looking at him, and they still get Genos. Okay, I was about to say, there's no way he's about to get out of that. But he does still get the Genos. They get Paraslay, and the Whirlwind comes through to allow them to keep pushing forward, and now they're looking at the rest of their team in the back line. The Wreckers are playing a big role. The Seismic Crash on a one target, the Dome Shield to go down, the Overpower onto the Ash. They throw him off the side. The Assert Dominance is gone, and so is Ash at the end of this fight.
So trying to back up. He just needs to buy time. Not contesting the cart might make this a lot rougher for them. Both tanks on that respawn timer. No way for them potentially to touch. Paraslay now going down to only Vivian and Genos, and into a crossfire. You're not going to be able to live on the cart.
The axes are a little bit too much from Grover. He's just staring it down. And you made a very, very good point, Kresnik. Other than the fact that Flashpoint just ended up winning this one, it was the fact that the burst healing from both Grover and Khan was too much for them to handle, I think.
So overwhelming. Even though they had so much damage, all it really did was get them Whirlwind faster.
Right, exactly.
Honestly, so much healing, so much alt charge, that reset, really helping them. Also, I want to say, props to Flashpoint for their juggling shields, too.
Same.
When they were running away from that Bomb King Ash, they could have died. I mean, without really good usage of the cooldowns. They could have just gone down, but Khan uses his shield first, gives it time to recharge. As they're going to go around the corner, they use the Makoa shell shield. Just perfect sync that way was the only thing that got them out and kind of got them that refight at the end. And you can tell by this healing difference, too.
Yeah,
170k to 53.
I mean, you saw them all stack on point, and they were really moving like literally as a death ball. And Warhammer, just in Warhammer for orcs, it's called what did you?
No,
you think I was gonna go like completely off the rails?
I've never played Warhammer, so
going crazy.
It took a second where I was like, "Where's he going with this?"
Oh yeah, so orcs, they will commit something that's called a smog, or they'll just rush all together.
Okay.
It's pretty much like what you would expect to see from Grover in this case as a death ball. They're literally all grouping together. They're all getting healed up. They move all the way forward, and they just tear apart everyone. And you see on the slash lines, the Arial Arise, we're unfortunately on the receiving end of that.
Skeppy 7-0 on the con, too. The one flexing from that DPS role to the tank role, so good performance, I think, by him being able to stay alive. Khan's, that moment of invincibility that he has during the battle shout is really big, I think, at living against these first kind of consistent damage compositions. Having the Vivian not being able to go down because of that. Also, Skeppy switching from the Victor to, both players play Victor, but going to thick Vic, still that consistent hit scan. Not that hard of a change, but still knowing how to balance your shield and your shout, it's kind of crucial and not really something you worry about on DPS too much.
Yeah, I mean, that overpower on the Alex Kidd, I mean, he had already used the Assert Dominance earlier before, and when you have these situations where Flashpoint are actually just able to net a lot of these kills and use that overpower, it's a little bit too much for you to be able to handle.
He just ripped him out of spawn.
I mean, yeah, he did.
The commanders grabbed him out of the door. He was
still,
half
bonked
in,
his
he
head
was
on
like,
top of the door frame.
no, come here.
Well, yeah, I mean, he still bonked his head on top of the door frame. They still got the kill, though.
Honestly, that was so perfectly spaced, too. I thought he was going to take spawn damage, honestly.
Well, yeah, I mean, that entirely makes sense as well. But that's it, guys. Game 1 already in the books for Flashpoint. Right after this break, we'll be right into Game 2.
The Paladins Console League is brought to you by Evil Mojo Games, developers of Paladins.
Welcome back, everybody. And with one European team in Cyclone getting themselves qualified for Hi-Rez Expo Qualifier Week, now Flashpoint moves within 2 games. If they win these next 2, they will be qualified and moving on to that qualifier week. Gore, we were crunching the numbers, trying to figure out how everything worked. They have a 8-map differential right now, and 7 is kind of that magic number with 1 game left. Even if they lost 3-0 to Ehrenmanner next week, they would still have a 1-map differential, and that's that second tiebreaker.
And that's really, again, where things are coming down. If your head-to-head is tied, if your score is tied, then your map differential is going to be kind of that third thing that's going to be coming through. If you just have even 1 map lead, you're going to be ahead of them. If that's tied, it goes to some really weird stuff. So don't tie that portion for us, please. I can't even remember what the 5th, 6th, and 7th. There are up to 7. I think the final one is just play another best of 5 and we'll figure it out. But there's a certain point where you kind of break it down through the stats. But as long as they find these next 2 maps clean, Flashpoint are fine.
Or even 3-1, I think, technically would keep them at a 7+
they
minus.
Trip up just a little bit.
But that's not really in Flashpoint's wheelhouse. I don't know the last time we've seen them trip up. Map number 2 for Flashpoint, if it goes half as fast as map number 1, could be a quick set for them. Bright Marsh, similar to Jaguar Falls, actually, in a lot of ways. I think that you can maybe see some similar picks here. Wouldn't be surprised if Willow and Victor remain banned. Talus, always that question mark ban for us. He's good. I don't know about perma-ban good, but at least here I don't imagine that will change. Maybe you expect to see some Bomb King here as well?
I don't mind seeing Bomb King on the map if Arial or Eyes want to maybe try and run it back again. Flashpoint, when I think Bomb King, they don't have anybody that screams Bomb King player to me on their draft.
Sure.
And so I actually would love, first off, maybe in the next few weeks, guys, pick that one up because it could be pretty helpful in a qualifier bracket as things come through.
Let's get this done.
But they get Victor. If Arial or Eyes go, I mean, they could literally get the exact same draft from last map. It works very, very well here, just as much so. But again, the problem wasn't the draft. The problem was the play behind the draft. Flashpoint are a difficult team to beat. So far, they're going to be starting it off pretty similarly.
Are you?
I can get us out of here alive.
I mean, because now I look back at the Makoa again, who's not banned out here. You go Vivian Ash to start off for Arial Arise, and now Flashpoint could get a free Makoa as their second pick.
Free Makoa Part 2. And they're happy
Could this
about
be
it.
4-0 Part 2 on Bright Marsh? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, at this rate, this is exactly what they need to start picking up in order to get them on that route one more time. Vivian Makoa, I think, would have been a much better pickup there for Arial Arise. I think at this point, you could go Genos Barrack, be perfectly happy once again, and run something very similar to your last draft. And theoretically, on paper and draft-wise, it's really good.
Yeah.
But execution-wise is where things start to fall apart. I like the hover of the Drogos, though. If it maybe thwarts a little bit of the triple front line, so Flashpoint couldn't quite run that back exactly. But with a Victor up there, I wouldn't be surprised if they'd go, the standard kind of route, grab a support and a DPS here, and just let Skeppy and Prosper go off the hook.
Yeah, and I love seeing that Flashpoint is kind of experimenting with the triple front line. Not something that's super uncommon for them, but the fact that they can still play that to their high standards.
Yeah.
Great to see on Jaguar Falls. Looking like a Furia here, and then something you brought up, the Bomb King, maybe something to start picking up. Strix as well has become arguably the most contested pick in the PPL. So we're going to get a look at it here for Flashpoint.
I don't mind seeing Strix on this map anymore. Snipers on Bright Marsh still has there's a little bit of cognitive dissonance in my brain. I see it and it's like, try to make the lines connect. It takes a little bit to get there, but it does. And it can work really well. I don't know how I feel about the 2 long range, but based on how I've seen Flashpoint play Victor, they're not going to be playing them long range the entire time. There are very similar times. There are very abundant amount of times that they will kind of shotgun blast people with that assault rifle about this distance.
I think, if something looks kind of funky, you have to give Flashpoint a pass because they're just that good at this game. Bright Marsh, map number 2. Let's head down and find out how it goes.
Welcome back, guys. Game 2 on Bright Marsh. I'm excited. Well, it's a real sad day.
Please sound more excited.
Oh, it's a real sad day right now.
He's just sad because he just knocked over someone's tee as we were walking into the room. He's still trying to get over it. I had to run over and get paper towels, but we're still here. Still excited for this game, Flashpoint. They have a pretty good hybrid draft, I would say, of aggression. That Makoa, Furia, Victor potentially going in, but they still have that Strix and Nara kind of stalwart lock down that point, spam. I kind of hope we actually do get to see deep roots, because that would be kind of cool. Something we don't really get to see too much, but the reason we don't see it too much is because it kind of just gets countered out by resilience. I mean, once you hit that point in the game, resilience is online, not really. Can we actually see if he swapped off or not on the deep roots talent?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm curious to see that too. Okay, he did. He went direct for Blossom, but they're opting to run. And once again, they've got the Barrack on their side again, but they have Fortress Breaker again. That's what it is that they're deciding to stick with.
Against nasty record too.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Flashpoint already was 66%. I mean, Arial or Rise have not been able to do what they need to. I mean, this is the first time they're able to step on point. They just got their 12%. Everyone's finding damage on somebody, but no confirmed kills yet. Actually, Ash tried to go all the way around to the back. Alex Kidd, they actually do manage to get the kill on Skeppy due to the flank that Alex Kidd was able to provide.
It was a great shot by Skeppy too on the way there. Storm Avatar is going to barely survive here. The missed time on the fire spit from Paraslay is going to keep the support alive and then keep this damage going. Barrage being used now, but Paraslay avoids the final shell. Flashpoint still have a leg in this fight. They have 69% on the point and still being contested, but Inara looks like she actually bullies out the Barrack and manages to keep this point under Flashpoint's control.
I mean, 87% already for Flashpoint, 96%, and it's going to be building up with Arial Arise unable to touch the point. No overtime. That's just going to be the first point for Flashpoint already, and Prosper Logic, man, he knows how to shoot them guns because he's already at the top of the damage chart.
Yeah, sure, and again, yeah, you were mentioning it earlier. Again, Fortress Breaker, which to me says that Arial Arise kind of needs the game to end early, because if it doesn't, it's going to be hard for them to keep it going after that. Inflame now being used to keep up this pressure, but see if there's not going to be able to find too much. Everyone in Arial Arise is just hiding behind the garden wall.
Yeah, I mean, he used a little bit of just like trying to find the proper positioning, trying to find that opening, but he wasn't able to do so. Paraslay gets a direct hit on the Paraslay right there. I mean, Paraslay gets a direct hit on the Skevy right there. It's the T thing. The T thing's bothering me. Anyway, here it is. The Barrage actually, I'm pretty sure he's actually going to end up having to back off. He has the Barrage up and available. Alex Kidd is actually just trying to go around. He's trying to make sure he can actually get the kill on the Storm Avatar. He can't get it. Good Lad is going to finish off Alex Kidd, and we still got a minute 30 left.
They can keep up this aggression if Good Lad can get Ancient Rage. He's very close, and now they have Skeppy on this cross angle to kind of deny anything else there. See how aggressive they can be with this. Skeppy, again, in a good angle, but he's kind of crawling close here. So the hook connected onto Venatore. On Barrack, has to back up very low and goes down to Prosper Logic's damage. Dragon Punch to slow things down, but I don't know if it's gonna at all.
He was able to at least get the kill on the Good Lad. Barrage came through just to make sure they could finish off Barrack. The Assert Dom is all the way in the back, but I believe he got stunned by the Pyre right there. It did actually go through.
He got slowed by the geometry as he was falling down, which gave them time to react with the Inflame to keep him from getting stunned. So Assert Dominance used and ineffective. Honestly, that's even worse for Arial Arise. Not connecting that would have been better. Being able to maintain that ult charge to contest the cart once it rounds this later corner.
3 kills already. Yeah, you're right. They weren't moving the card. They're going to step back now and now try to move that forward as best as they can. But at the same time, Arial Rise are just stuck up there. They've got Dome Shield, they've got the Whirlwind, so they could start the aggression if they wanted to. With how aggressive Flashpoint are and how much damage they're taking, the fact they're all grouped around one little pillar right there is indication enough that they can't move out. And a headshot like that from Skeppy, now they definitely can't move out from spawn. 15 seconds left. Alex Kidd is going to have to apply that pressure into that smaller room, but he's just getting focused down. Skeppy's all the way in the back. Barrett puts the shield up, which actually ends up blocking the shot on the temptation in the back. He has to use Dome Shield, but Prosper Logic and the rest of them still, oh my gosh, he almost actually went down again right there. But overtime is up on the board right now.
This is the most dangerous place for Grover. You can tell by how forward he has to keep positioning. He has to go forward to heal them because they're just out of his radius, constantly peeking these sight lines. You can see how much damage Skeppy's doing in that top left area. Damage reduction, Earth Guard used on point, still pressuring up here. Health is not great across the board for Arial Arise. Grover gets a Blossom off, but now they're kind of left alone without healing and Inflame. It's going to make it a lot easier to finish off these kills for Flashpoint.
Skeppy's looking really, really low, but the seismic crash to follow through to make it a little bit easier for Good Lad on the side right here. That way he doesn't end up going down. Legacy's eating a lot of fire, but he's still being healed up from Furia. He just has very, very little health. Is going to go down. Good Lad is going to be the next one to step up to make sure they can keep this card going, but the Barrage used at the very last second. That's so unfortunate. He uses the Barrage. It ends up going all the way through at the very, very last possible second, which means he's not going to have it coming into next round.
wow, this was that play. So you saw the geometry slowing down the assert dominance, but Skeppy apparently just took that inflame that they used to stay alive and said, all right, well, use it to stay alive, I'll at least make something out of it. Walks forward, gets 2 pretty solid kills there, but doesn't end up converting the capture for them. Aerial Arise getting a defensive point on the board, their first point of the set. And I don't know, that was tough by Prosper in that last moment, not canceling the barrage after they lost the objective. But Victor charges out so fast, and going back to spawn now, being able to get Wrecker 3 is going to make a huge difference here. I mean, you saw how much time those shields were buying on those later fights, those more staggered fights, and having Wrecker 3, Wrecker 2, and 2 Wrecker 1s means they're going to go down. Look at this flank by Skeppy. So aggressive here. They don't know he's there, and there's no way they can find out because of the invisibility. Paraslay goes down.
They take care of the Drogos. In this case, that lid is now uncontested, and you just see Skeppy all the way in the back, now able to apply pressure from just one pure angle. They're going to have to try and push him out, but 63% already for Flashpoint. Arial Arise, they have the Dragon Punch. They've got a few ultimates up, actually. The Dragon Punch, the Assert Dominance, the Whirlwind, all of that to be able to find themselves an opening. The Dragon Punch gets used, though, but the wall goes up, and he actually cannot make it past that. Goes up and over, but Anar is already out of the firing lines.
Honestly, great reaction in time from Console for Dragon Punch. Normally we see slow returns, but a quick flick up gets Paraslay over that wall. Great aggression from this Victor. That shield immediately goes down, but Prosper might be following that too. Good Lad cleans up and feels for him. That Ancient Rage finds 2 kills, and Flashpoint have the pick advantage, but not the objective pressure yet.
The Inflame goes out to focus down on that Barrack. He has to drop Dome Shield, make sure he doesn't end up dying, but can't say the same for Alex Kidd, unfortunately, who does go down. A good hook into some follow-up from the Anar, some damage from the Makoa, and of course the healing to keep them all juiced up, as well as the Inflame, is going to be enough for Flashpoint to net their second point in this game.
Hook used as raw CC is actually so good sometimes, getting that down. Shields melted from Prosper. All that damage on Victor getting multiplied 225% makes it very tough to stay alive with those shields. Now both are down and off cooldown. They might be able to pressure here. Alex gets hooked, pulled in there. The grenade actually catches Blind Temptation in the back too. So if Arial Arise keep getting staggered here, this is going to be so tough. This barrage is going to make it even harder to stay alive.
They're all up right there. Nice barrage. A good Pyre Strike. None of them could really move, so they do actually get picked off. 2 of them. Barrack, Drogos, now the Ash, the very last spot. All of them, I believe, actually end up getting hit by that Pyre Strike, but the one that went down due to it was the Barrack. Just such a good barrage from Prosper Logic all the way in the back line. He's just chucking these grenades up there, looking similar to the last spot. I believe he got to hook onto Blind Temptation at that point, drug him right down in front of him, and actually managed to get that kill. They got rid of Legacy, though, but Flashpoint still have 1:30 left on the clock.
We're going to see an annihilation in this game from Prosper for sure. Yeah. I mean, he's already on a godlike, already getting out a ton of damage. And the main part is sustain for the tanks in the other team. Just fall apart in front of him. So tough to tell how long you're going to live depending on the sidelines here. Great kill by Paraslay there. It's kind of even things out, help him stabilize on this defense. Skeppy uses Flashbang to keep himself alive. Arial Arise want to get a little bit aggressive here. You can see tanks in both lanes, plus Paraslay pushing out Flashbang to see what Arial Arise can find.
A good wall from Anara just as it goes down. Skeppy's actually able to get the shot onto the Vivian, which leaves her literally at 1 HP. Him and the Anara's damage almost ended up being the tide for that one. I mean, the Dragon Punch ends up getting used. They have to back off, and at this point, they're just waiting to see if they can find their opening, but I really don't think they can. The barrage should keep everybody behind cover, and really they can't move anywhere, otherwise they're actually just going to end up getting blown up. Good Lad's immediately on top of Alex Kidd, and I believe that was the Pyre Strike that did that. I mean, one of them actually just ended up getting last hit by Storm Avatar. The Pyre Strike kills the Vivian. Good Lad actually gets rid of Paraslay, and the only one that's really left is the Grover and the Barrack at this point.
The Anar walls up to the spawn to put on pressure, but isn't able to stop the Barrack. Doesn't really matter, though. Nowhere to hide. All that Wrecker online, Barrack cannot withstand the pressure coming in. 26 streak and a 20 streak for Storm Avatar, so crazy streaks on the side of Flashpoint. Arial Arise can't really make it through to get onto them. The tanks, I think, are just setting up too big of a wall for Arial Arise to be able to break through. Almost 140k damage for Prosper, too. 50k more or less above of the Vivian, so Arial Arise, I think they got to find something soon. Their DPSs are both 4 and 8, but it's a lot of deaths, I think, for how this game is going so far. They have to be a little bit better protected by their tanks.
Yeah, I mean, even Prosper, the one thing that stands out to me is the Rejuvenate right now. And of course, I mean, that's going to be able to allow him to be able to...
I would get it too.
Well,
if I was on a 14 streak, I want that Annihilation.
Right, of course.
I'll buy anything. I mean, Life Rip, Kill to Heal.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, just being able to keep yourself alive and make sure that Furia is going to do her very best to keep you alive. That's going to end up being really good for Prosper, but Paraslay ends up picking off Skeppy. Good Lad's already on the side. He used the Ancient Rage to zone out several targets, and unfortunately, the Grover's all the way in the back, has to Vine Grip his way out. Legacy's back there too. Even he wants a piece. He's going to be able to make sure he takes care of that Grover. Alex Kidd on the side, though. No one's really going to be able to try and push out, except for the Dragon Push. It's coming directly on point, but he can't choose which one he's going to hit, except for Legacy. He actually does go down still.
Paraslay, that was a free Dragon Punch, by the way, because he killed Prosper Logic, getting all that bonus ult charge from the streak he was on. Crackshot applying a lot of pressure right now for Flashpoint, Skeppy here, and Inflamed. Low
Nice
HP across all of them. If that Grover gets a good amp, it could help out. Blossom not coming out here, gets forced away. His positioning right now from Flashpoint, so tough for them to go through. This Dome Shield will buy time, but not enough with that Barrage coming in.
Not at all. Inara was already ready to apply that pressure in the back line. Throws a grenade, jumps up, bounces off the wall, unfortunately. But he still is able to get the kill on Vivian. Now he's looking at Paraslay, of course. He's getting really, really aggressive. Unfortunate for him. Unfortunate for him, he wasn't able to actually continue that Annihilation or anything bigger than a 26 streak at this point. But Prosper, man, he's been popping off. 81% already for Flashpoint. And Arial Rise might actually be unable to touch it this point.
You can see the difference in aggression between Perfect Game Prosper Logic and One Death Prosper Logic. Perfect Game, he's playing in the back, kind of controlling, just spamming down, hoping he can find those cleanup kills. Dies once, just, I'm running into their spawn. It doesn't even matter anymore. Who cares?
Right.
I just want to, I'll kill this Grover behind the entire team. They won't stop me.
Yeah, I mean, you just see him like run immediately at the Drogos that's already hit him. He's like less than half health. He's like, I guess I'll die then. All right, well.
At least, because he won't be giving up ult at that point, right?
Right, exactly.
All strategic.
On top of that, I mean, you do have the post-game stats to see exactly how much this man was doing. 157,885 damage. The healing was close on both sides, actually. On the Furia, on the Grover, you have 156,000, almost 157, and he was not far off from the Grover's healing, which was 157,408. But the slash lines, man, I mean, once again, Flashpoint are looking more than good and more than ready at this point.
Sure, 17-2 on Prosper. Storm Avatar did manage to maintain his perfect game, outputting very good healing on the Furia. That's one reason why the healing was so close. I think 5 deaths on the Grover on Arial Rise made a pretty big difference, but we're already talking about him quite a bit this game because he was definitely the star. Absolutely Prosper Logic on the Victor. We can see why Flashpoint basically first picks Victor at every opportunity to have a player like him piloting it. This Barrage. Barrage is such a good ultimate. Oh yeah, the Pyro Strike comes in for the stun there, and actually everybody I think got chunked by that last shell of the Barrage. So huge combo there for the team.
Yeah, it just ended up working out so well for them during that very, very last push. Of course, the grenade there, it is bounced off the side.
I'm glad that was on the replay, too.
Yeah, I'm glad that was, too, actually, so we could see that. This is the non-perfect game Prosper Logic we're talking about. Already gets hit. He's like, you know what? Might as well. All the way in the back line. But, of course, like you said, it was all very strategic. It was a zone. He was able to get the dismount on the Barrack, so they had 72% already for Flashpoint. So, I mean, they weren't able to take the win because of that.
Yeah, when Susie goes down, it's like 1 death, 20 deaths. What's the difference? I want to go in. So, good luck by Flashpoint again. Kind of being brought. Well, they won the Ariel's pick, so they just go to a very similar map. Bright Marsh keep that same style up, but both the flat maps are gone. Wonder where we're going to go to next.
I'm curious to see that as well. We can only see what map they pick right after this break.
SteelSeries, the official peripheral provider of the Paladins Console League.
Well, one more game, one more win for Flashpoint. A little less convincing this time. They do give up a point, but they move themselves one game closer towards high-res Expo qualifiers. Gormizer, the question now becomes, when do you just stop giving Flashpoint Makoa's good lad this time, not Legacy like we're maybe used to seeing? Still works out wonders for them. Skeppy on the Strix as well. Certainly hit its mark.
You start it. Let's see. They played 2 games. 2 games ago. That's when you stop letting them have Makoa. Like at this point, it's just it's one of those things you can't ban it against them because there's so many things that are potent and worth banning here.
Right.
But they somehow still managed to get Victor Makoa, which are 2 of the top champions for Flashpoint in my mind.
Right.
You give them, the chance to get Atlas, they're going to run through you with Atlas. You give them the chance to get Talus, they're going to run through you with Talus. So there's just too many things to ban against them, and I think that's going to be where their strong suit is right now. It's just the fact that they are able to play damn near anything in the game.
Right.
Again, the only champion now that I've thought about it that I don't think I've ever seen them play is a Bomb King.
Fair. I agree. It's been, Victor Strix, Victor Leon has been a big combination for them. Between Prosper and Skeppy, not a lot. Doesn't
guarantee someone has a clip where I'm casting a game of Flashpoint and they're playing Bomb King. I'm talking about the Bomb King, and I've just forgotten about it.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it recently. When have you played him recently? And could be here, in theory, on Ice Mines. I will have to see the way the picks and bans shake out. If we brought up Makoa at the beginning of this death segment, so we'll have to see if that one maybe swaps around. Willow. Still a popular ban here.
This is going to be Grok.
Go ahead.
Flashpoint are going to play Grok. I can already feel it. Unless he gets banned out, Flashpoint are going to play Grok. It's in the atmosphere.
All right, well, if they don't pick him first, I'll check in with each volley of picks to see where your confidence is. Right.
Yeah, it's looking like a Grok here.
They do ban out Victor, Willow, Atlas, Talus. So here's your choice. If you're Arial Arise, do you stick with the Vivian?
She's worked so well so far, Dave.
They do stick with the Vivian. They are 8-1 points-wise on the day. Grover being hovered here for Flashpoint. Grok can work with Grover Gore. And a Barrack here for Flashpoint. Not quite the Makoa run back just yet. But Barrack, great point tank here on Ice Mines.
Yeah, especially when accompanied now with Grover that comes through. A lot of good healing. Very, very good map for Grover as well. There were a few maps like when and this happens with every champion, as they start to kind of peek their head back into the meta, it's always like, well, this is a map that they are always going to work on.
Yeah.
Ice Mines was that map for Grover where it's just, hey, if you stand here, you heal people up on the balcony, you heal people on the point and in the side room. Like, you get everybody that you need to get done, and you can still poke and get some damage out. So you have a lot of potency in this map. And then they expand beyond that. So Grover's going to be able to work here. Good synergy with Barrack, and I anticipate good synergy with whatever off-tank
Good synergy with Grok, right?
Yeah. I mean, this could be... No joke. I could see Makoa, Khan, Grok as the last 3 picks for Flashpoint.
It would make sense. Makoa falling this time to 6th pick. Like Leon hovered, though, and this is one flexibility kind of becomes the topic here with Flashpoint, because you don't know if this is Skeppy or Prosper Logic, because we've seen them both play the Leon. We've seen them both play it very, very well. So the flexibility allows them to kind of leave that last pick as a little masked. 4 out of 5 picks locked in. How are you feeling on the Grok prediction there?
I still like Grok there is the best way to word it. I don't know.
Where's the confidence on a 0 to 10?
7. It started at 10. First 2 picks made it go to like a 9.
And follow me in.
Now it's at like a 7. I'm still pretty sure it fits well here. I think it could work pretty well against what Arial Arise have. The only issue is dealing with the Pip, dealing with the Drogos. Leon can help with a lot of those. I still think it could work.
Could be a con.
I'm gonna die on this hill right now if I have to.
Could be a swap.
For the sake of entertainment.
Could be one more triple front line for Flashpoint. Scary, aggressive, Grokless. How do you feel about you said A was like a good medium level up front.
My B tier draft where I said that they could go Makoa Khan Grok.
That's true.
I got 2/3 there, so I'll give myself something at least a little bit.
Grok still could maybe somehow swap his way in there. We'll have to see in Game 3. Maybe for the 3rd and final time. Take it away.
Thank you guys from the desk. No spills this time, so we're good coming into Game 3 on Ice Mines. I'm excited to see the fact that they have 2 blasters already on Arial Arise's side, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's common, I think, on this map a lot of the time, being able to pull out that. Or you're talking about Ashen. Oh, the Pip and Drogos.
Pip and Drogos, yeah.
Yeah, being able to have that AoE control, I think, can be pretty big.
combat medic. Wait, oh
Actually,
yeah, that's right.
It's healer Pip.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna
right.
say, my brain was getting destroyed. I'm like, 2 blasters. I wasn't thinking about the Pip healer also
Right,
counting.
yeah.
That slow AoE is a pretty decent CC, but we're going to see almost all the shots connecting onto the team. Now, combat medic, it's a lot of work for not potentially a lot of value. Deft hands start makes a lot of sense for combat medic. Your healing is your left click, so it makes sense to do that. Also, you can't be that close to the people you're healing because your shots still hurt you. Unless you run the build that makes them not, but you probably shouldn't.
Oh.
Some damage coming in here, potentially getting pulled in. The first kill onto the hook onto Paraslice can make it hard to stay alive. It's so tough for Combat Medic Pip to spread these heals.
Yeah, triple front line again, and because of that, he wasn't actually able to keep him alive. Very unfortunate for Arial Arise. He's gonna have to back all the way up, still gonna go down. Big sad.
I said a lot of risk for a medium reward. You have to basically do double the work, triple the work that a Damba or any other healer would have to do for the same benefit. So it's tough, but if it works out, it could be decent, but you gotta connect those shots, and that was the first struggle that Arial Arise were trying to deal with here. Death balling up top to make it easier to connect all those heals. They do manage to get a pick onto Legacy, but I mean, their healer's all the way back on Cart. It's kind of a sure thing, and backing up, gonna find the stagger onto Skeppy as well. Still the sustain on point. Strogo's have to do a lot of damage, I think, if they want to burst through and find another.
Well, it's a good start, especially when you hit a combustible on the front liner and the support. He's going to force him back. Of course, Pip's just sitting right here, just healing. Of course, they're going to be able to at least push up just a tiny bit, a little bit. Nothing too crazy, though. He's trying to fire up and over the wall on the Legacy, but the shield goes down immediately. And, of course, Venator is going to eat a lot of damage. Prosper's coming right in, though, right under the mine shaft. He's going to be able to push him all the way, at least a little bit in the back. And he has Enlightenment as well. Good shots from him are going to leave Anar dead.
And the little cleave of the Enlightenment tried to get through, but the Overpower actually made him miss. Alex Kidd just thrown into the back line just to be staggered. Obviously, they should leave him, but he had dash. Could have potentially been able to make it back in time. So Avatar now been playing these mines to heal everybody, but good positioning by Flying Temptation forces him away.
Oh.
But now this is just going to be a massive stagger. That potion comes in, but in that duel, not with the flank from Good Lad coming in out.
Yeah, Good Lad was able to do exactly what his name would suggest. He's a good lad. He was able to come in, help out his teammate, keep him alive, and he did. And now we see that Legacy and Skeppy are affording themselves some good positioning, but an even better Hexifier, not Hexifier, sorry, a better Evil Mojo in this case onto both of their front liners, and it's going to allow them to get a double kill.
Great play by the Pip there, diving in on the good making up, honestly, for the first mid-fight, going and getting those 2 picks. Double kill in 1 shot from that Evil Mojo, and this is going to give up so much ground from Flashpoint, just since I don't think they're not going to be willing to spend any ultimates. It's Ice Mines. They know they need them for the mid-fight. If they can get a pick here, it might be able to equalize. But look at this aggression from Arial Arise, running it down. They know what they can get away with, and Flashpoint feels so pressured they have to use the Dome Shield.
Yeah, I mean, Paraslice is actually looking really, really low. They haven't really given up any ground whatsoever. Still, they were forced back away from the cart, but they're still pushing. They aren't giving up any sort of ground. They got rid of the Inara, they got rid of the Drogos, and now they're going to be able to do what they were doing before, which is push right back up and control that pretty much that main alleyway right there. Good shot from Legacy, and you see the healing potion come off screen, try and heal Temptation back up to the health it is that he needs to be at, but it just wasn't enough.
It'll be crazy if they convert this because of that pressure. Legacy's still moving the cart here. Now this kid's going to get crazy staggered out, but he uses the Assert Dominance. Pretty far away from the fight. Good Lad's just going to leave him. They don't need to care. This kid now has 6 seconds until his dash is back up because that Fortress Breaker build means you're not going to be repositioning enough. Focusing on the Siege Engine resets. Rowan comes out to keep the team alive.
Nice.
Enlightenment coming in. This is going to be so hard for Arial Arise.
A kill in the back line onto the Vivian. A kill on the Paraslay. A kill onto the Pip. A kill onto the Inara. You got 4. You're looking at a 5th. And that is going to be the 5th kill for Flashpoint. They're going to push this one in without any ability or any say-so from Arial Arise to be able to stop that.
Alex Kidd has just been playing behind the team the entire time. The first overpower threw him in the back, then Assert Dominancing in the back line with the rest of his team going down. It's not Assert Dominancing, is it? It's asserting dominance.
Yeah,
I know that's how you would say it in real words, but we're using ultimate lines. Who knows how it would actually end up going here. 7-1 for Prosper, though. Coming in here. Storm Avatar also only 1 death on the board. And with the way that Arial Arise are winning fights, I'm honestly surprised that the slash lines aren't a little nicer to their side. Good damage there, too, but damage stats are always pretty padded against the pressure that Grover heals or the sustain that Grover heals brings. So hard to burst through so much of your damage just getting wiped off the board.
Now, Deft Hands for Pip on Combat Medic makes sense.
Yes.
Because you're trying to be able to burst out or at least bring out as much healing as you possibly can and stay up on that, right?
If your primary fire is your healing,
exactly.
you want it more. It's
okay.
Combat Medic's Chronos, basically.
Right.
And I'm assuming in his build, he's running reload speed, the card that gives him like 20%. So you'd be able to tell he's running at 01, so he actually will need to go Deft Hands 3 to maximize the output, but it's still pretty good for now. Parasite starting with the Dragon Punch, the heals coming in from the Combat Medic, almost keep his team alive. Prosper trying to dive, but Reese is out of the fight more or less. Being that far away, though, means no heals for his team, but the Anar peels him off.
Yeah, he's going to be able to peel back for his support. A double kill for the Anar. They've got that comeback mechanic on lock, too, meaning they're going to have 4% every tick that they are standing on that point. Good lad has to make his way back to the point as well as the rest of Flashpoint, but I don't think they will be able to. This is a pretty good and very, very aggressive zone on Arial Arise's side. Good lad is just running up there, but he's just going to end up getting picked off, I think.
You pushed him to the point!
No, he actually, you're right!
On the shoulder bash! They got the overtime, but I'm not sure if it'll matter. We'll have to see if Flashpoint can convert these kills.
They have to use the Hex, I keep calling it Hexafire. They have to use the Evil Mojo to actually counter out the fact that Legacy is trying to step on point. They do end up capturing that. And they have the assert dominance all the way in the front. Doesn't actually end up hitting anybody, just gets overpowered right out of it. And he's going to get picked off. Unfortunate for Alex Kidd. But yeah, that was really, really scary. That could have been very bad. They had to use the Evil Mojo. Messing up this time. They had to use the Evil Mojo to actually make sure that they kept them off of the point and could just burst them. Don't want to give up the point pressure at all to Flashpoint.
That assert dominance was an interesting choice, too. Normally, I wouldn't have agreed with it, but, I mean, Flashpoint responded with 2 ults. They threw away kind of Overpower and Enlightenment on that. They're going to have the Enlightenment up very soon, but still having that utility off the board for this aggressive zone, it's a little harder. Good lad. All 3 tanks shoving in main. Nobody really watching the backside right now, but with that pressure, no one's going to be able to get by unseen.
Yeah, good rockets from Paraslay. Just pretty much hit as many people as he possibly can. Ash is all the way in the back. And
do they know?
Do they recognize? They don't know. They don't know that they're moving, that she's moving
There's
the
no
car.
way they don't notice the whole time.
They're literally, okay, not the whole time. Okay, now they turned around.
Wait, no,
they actually just don't know. They're not turning around. Kreslik, they're not turning around. They don't know. They're getting the kills and they're pushing forward.
At some point, someone's got to notice, right?
They're pushing forward. They don't know that Ash is on the cart pushing it behind them.
Oh, no.
Okay, Grover's coming.
But it's just Grover. No one moves fast enough. They don't have an Ash or something.
Now
They will be able to make it back in time to contest. Storm Avatar will have the Vine in a second, but it's going to be a Grover solo contest.
Wait, can they not get back?
I don't.
Can Grover not Vine grip in time?
If he charge your boop,
charge boop. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Oh Jesus.
If he let the Grover touch because of that, that would have been unreal. But a full backdoor on Ice Mines, you got to pay attention to that objective timer up top. Arial Arise managing to get a full backdoor from an aggressive zone because of Alex Kidd. I'm assuming just hiding on mid. I can't. And then that was honestly, you got to give credit to the rest of Arial Arise too. Because they were able to feed in front and constantly just go in and die. No, everyone at Flashpoint's like, guys, oh my God, they're so bad. We're owning them. And then they look up and they see it more than halfway done and nobody has mobility on their team. That's rough. But even with how cool that was, they gave up their comeback mechanic. This is going to be a fight they have to win, honestly, and get a great aggressive zone.
I agree with that. I'm sorry I'm laughing so much. Just the fact that
it's funny.
No, it's just the collective heart attack we had. Where like, is Grover going to be able to touch the point with Vine Grip? Please don't let him touch the point with Vine Grip. You did so well. Don't let him back to the point, and they did it. At this point, it's 2-2 though. They actually do just end up pushing directly forward. They get a good wall on the good lad though. Of course, Pip's going to be able to heal him as much as possible and keep him alive. They actually just get rid of 2 of them entirely. Legacy's on the point. 24% for Flashpoint. No percent for Arial Arise, but they have 2 kills already in the fight. Especially on Ice Mine, it's going to be huge. They get a 3rd one in the form of Legacy. Grover has to step on point and at least die on it to make sure they don't get any more percentage. And 9% to 30, Flashpoint are going to be able to make it back.
Evil Mojo saved again, too, so if they do get someone to touch, they will be able to burn him down pretty quickly. Good Lad still has Ancient Rage. He's getting bursted so far. Using this early is kind of tough, though. Now they don't have this to counter the Evil Mojo. When they get in, Swing's not doing much of anything here, plus the wall. They still have enough time to get in because the Pip pushed up to be able to heal his team, but now they have to walk into an Evil Mojo and an Assert Dominance waiting for them.
The Earthen Guard just to be able to push forward and keep that pressure on Good Lad. He used the Ancient Rage. Okay, nice Evil Mojo onto the Legacy, but Skeppy and Prosper Logic are going to find 2 kills already. He moves directly on the point. Actually manages to get the shot on the Paraslay. Good Lad finishes it off. The assert dominance right next to points. That way he can stay with the Anara, but an even better hook. A seismic crash just get thrown down all the way in the back line, but no one can really capitalize. Most of them have already died at this point. Anara goes down. Now the commanders grab onto the Ash. They're going to get a kill onto her as well. 42% to 99. Arial Arise only needed one more tick to be able to close that one out.
They also used their assert dominance when most of their team was dead, so they don't have that now for a retake. Flashpoint know how aggressive they have to be. Push forward, catch Paraslay with a hook from Good Lad, and now I don't know if they have a way to break through. Again, their only chance they really had was assert dominance. If they died faster, maybe they could have used it, but Alex Kidd does not have that on the table now. 4 versus 5 on the zone with Paraslay still coming back. Arial Rise have to give up even more ground.
Oh, Flying Temptation actually gets hooked immediately by Good Lad, and he is going to be the first down in this defensive line that Arial Arise have set up for themselves. Nara has to back off, but she's eating so much damage. That kill immediately onto the Vivian was just a little bit too much. It immediately broke down their defense. A good little fire spit shot right there, of course, from Paraslay, just being on the side. He's watching and making sure with the pip. Oh yeah, with the pip to make sure they're not affording or giving up any sort of ground. A minute 45 still left. No kills yet, but a gray wall from Anara is going to set up for a kill on Prosper Logic. But Good Lad, at the same time, it's all the way pushing forward. Wait, well, who's stopping the point? Is this going to happen and vice versa? They're not turning around. They're not turning around.
No way. You'd think that after you do it to them, you won't let it happen to you. I get that it's very exciting. Paladins is very fun to play. Right? Paladins is a very fun game. You can't have that much fun. You gotta pay attention to the point, man. It doesn't matter. That's the numbers up top, not the numbers on the scoreboard at the end are what matter. How do you let it happen? It just happened. You just did it to them. Either way.
Game ready?
Do we have the stats? Not that they.
Do we have the stats ready?
Do we have a back cap meter? Can we just see that? I
was trying to stay serious as possible. Okay, 94,000 for. I mean, what do? 140,000. I mean, Storm Avatar did good. He had good healing. I mean, and
decent healing from the pip too. Yeah. Honestly, we were talking about it at the start. For how we saw some of the POVs, there was sometimes he was missing a few shots, but still keeping up that much on healing. Maybe there's some merit to the combat medic, at least on ice mines, where everyone's so close, and just having that evil mojo in the pocket at any time is pretty huge too.
14-4 for Prosper Logic right there. I mean, Storm Avatar did well. He only died 4 times, but he has 23 assists. Most assists in the game already, of course, and more credits. Just they're being able to group up flashpoints. Tried and true triple front line right there was a little bit too strong for Arial Arise to handle. They lost to it on the first map. They lost to it on the third map. That flashpoint just went up over them on 3-0. But, I mean, flashpoint, just such a dominating lead throughout this set. I'm really trying not to remember the fact that they just backcapped that. But it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Flashpoint did good.
Game 3 didn't happen.
Game 3 didn't happen.
There was no war in bossing set. It's a Good Lad. 7-5 on this Makoa. That triple tank. Very impactful, especially on ice when tanks are already so good. And we saw those hooks he had very consistent. Did he get this under the wall? No,
he walked around.
Yeah, I was going to say. But still, though, getting these hooks, it's why Makoa is so early of a pick and ban on PC, and I honestly really think with the quality of these players, he should be there too on console. Anytime you hit a hook, that's an instant pick. That's an ultimate level ability. I mean, Khan has that ability on hit scan, and it's one of the best ultimates in the game. Makoa has it up every 10 to 12 seconds.
Yeah.
It's kind of unreal.
It is really, really unreal. Game 3 already done. Yeah, exactly. Game 3 already done. 3-0 for Flashpoint. They take the set right after this break. We'll be right into the second set of the day.